Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Today I'm going to be continuing to working on this blog post I was working on yesterday, now titled "The Gap Between a Helpful Assistant and a Senior Engineer." And in the background, I've also been migrating my blog to Hugo, um, having Claude do 100% of it. It's been going for a little bit because I started it earlier today, but maybe we'll finish, or at least until my rate limit runs out. Ha ha ha. I feel good about these three paragraphs. It's the last paragraph that is giving me trouble, I'd say. What the heck is going on with the current directory? I thought they fixed this problem. Oh, it's because they're in the blog directory. Blech. Claude was doing this shit like half a year ago, and it's so annoying they haven't fixed it yet. This is Opus too, right? Yeah, I think this is Opus. Hey, welcome to the stream. Thanks for joining. Besides just slotting in LLMs anywhere in the traditional software development pipeline where they substitute only small steps out of a fundamentally human-oriented process. Um, Obvious path of least resistance to just slot LLMs in anywhere. But doing this quickly causes a bottleneck on code review capacity. Maybe I should still call it staff. I love AI overviews. They're so fast. That's not a very good model. Good probably make tactical decisions. Vision. Am I bottlenecked on senior engineers? I don't think I'm bottlenecked on senior engineers. A lot of E5s. Single team. Single system. Yeah, let's say staff. Do I expect a senior engineer to do this? I feel like one of the things that, like, along the same themes of jagged AI capabilities is that the traditional senior versus staff distinction, it's going to be weird because you're going to end up with people who, like, it's very jagged. Some things will be easy to operate at staff and some things won't. Hi, IGY. Yeah. Welcome to the stream. I'm streaming about LLMs, agentic AI, a little bit of vibe coding as well. I don't know if what you're up to these days. Thanks for rejoining the stream. And that lines up with the L7 here. Well, I'm migrating my blog to Hugo. Solid, it's okay. Just pop this down here so I can see if it's running or not. Working on a startup. Well, it's a good time to be working startups, in my opinion. Especially with all these LLMs running around. Lots of money sloshing around in the ecosystem. No, I don't like staff. Current startup is running short on runway. Yes, it's a sad but true tale. I spent a little time in the startup land when I was an undergrad. I did an internship at Ksplice. They got acquired by Oracle. It worked out for them. I also did not really a startup at that point, but I did a internship at Streambase as well. They got acquired as well. So they it was worked out, but I don't know. I wasn't super happy with the corp life. That's also why I decided to go do a PhD. What's going on? Why are these titles so big? Heading sizes are too big. Mark down. Vicky says, how do you feel about doing PhDs at the moment? At some point I want to teach, but a PhD sounds like a lot of effort, especially right now. So the thing is, you don't have to get a, well, I mean, uh, this is a very tricky question. So the traditional pipeline into academia is to get a PhD. Now, you don't have to like there is such a thing as teaching positions. So like if you don't want to like do the research thing and you just want to teach, like it's like you can do your PhD but like weight it more towards like TAing and then teaching. Like while I was at Stanford, I had a chance to just like teach the programming languages class there. I did it for several years. Is why I ended up like doing some teaching at NYU, and like that was a thing. And I could have totally gone to some small, you know, liberal arts college on the East Coast and like been a teaching career with a little bit of research. And many of my contemporaries, like in my field, I know several people who did do that. It's just it's a pretty hard life, honestly. You really don't get paid very much, and you're stuck geographically to the location. And I also saw lots of people over the years like bounce out for like higher paying gigs. You know, like for example, Jane Street is hires educators like as a thing. Like I don't know if they still have an open position for that, but there was like one point in time when Ron Minsky was putting out a call for that sort of thing. And yeah. So like I'm going to give my generic PhD advice, right? Which is if you're going to go get a PhD, you should know what you want out of the PhD, right? Like and if what you want is to have a teaching position at a small liberal arts college, then doing a PhD is a very reasonable way to get that. But it's important to understand what exactly the bill of goods you're being sold is. And you don't even have to like do a PhD to teach a class. Like I also remember for a while Brian O'Sullivan and David Maziers would teach the Haskell class at Stanford. Like you know, Brian as a Meta employee who'd come down and teach the class. It's a lot of work though, and if you're working, you know, like it wasn't too bad. Like for me teaching at NYU because I could just pop over and do it, and I already had the class ready to go, and it was still a lot of work. And so when the pandemic happened, I just stopped teaching the class. Yeah, if you want to do a PhD for research, that's a totally different deal, and especially a totally different deal if you want to do a PhD for research in AI. But I'm less qualified to talk about that sort of thing. All right, what's going on? This is so cool. Like, I was like, I want exactly the same theme, and I want exactly the same URL structure, and then Claude just figures it out. I don't think it's the right strategy. For one, heading level, it's too low. I think more holistically this. I feel the markdown processor should be the one responsible for adjusting the headings when nested in sign. EGS seen here. I would much rather be able to still use heading myself and authoring. Okay. Iki, do you know what the corporate research versus academic research landscape looks like? I had a friend at Tesla at Autopilot who doesn't even have a PhD in engineering. Oh. Okay, so I'm assuming, are you talking about AI? This is the most important question. Okay, so basically, what has happened to AI? Okay, so in the good old days, there were academic research labs, right? So Microsoft Research was like that. Like, Facebook AI research was like that. Basically like academia, but you were employed by a company instead of in academia, but you still were like judged a lot by like papers you published. And so if you didn't have a PhD, it was possible but difficult to get in here. And usually the like traditional trajectory was something like a research engineer role, which is because like as people wanted to do bigger and bigger projects, like scaling up, you just needed people to just do a bunch of engineering. And so they would often be hiring engineers, and these engineers wouldn't necessarily have any research experience. And while this does sound like a pretty cool gig, also sometimes like not so nice, because unlike a traditional, this looks good. What's going on with the dates? Sorry, a little distracted. Gotta use up my allocation. And it's up, floating to the right, which is confusing. Let's just put it under the title. Before the title. Okay. So what was I saying? So yeah, so academic research, corporate industry research lab, and then you are a research engineer. And I was saying it's not necessarily a good gig, because you're dealing with research code, so it's like kind of horrifying code base. Things are on fire, like especially like in the early days of training runs, you saw the like logbook for llama training, like it's pretty nuts. So like, I mean, it's not a very stable terminal gig, honestly. Okay. So now what has happened with like the ascendancy of LLMs? Hmm. It froze. Is this the famous Cloud Code is buggy problem? No, that was fine. I lost my text. And I mean, okay. So with the rise of LLMs, like I think it's substantially harder. So if you like think about if you think about like a frontier lab, right? They're just trying to like hire really good people generically, and they're not publishing papers. And so like if you're trying to do, I mean, yeah, if research as as in publishing papers is the goal here, this isn't like it's very research-y, but like it's the goal, the value function is a bit different here. And then there are some places that are like still putting out research, but because doing large scale model training is so capital intensive, right? Like it's just a very strange ecosystem. It's very unstable. Like it's much more startup shaped more than anything else. Like gone are the days of like you know big tech companies, huge income stream, therefore they can just spend a bunch of money on prestige gathering activities, right? Like everyone is like trying to make LLMs happen. So Jan LeCun leaving Meta, and like lots and lots of emphasis on getting LLMs to happen. Like that's the reality on the ground right now. It's not working, but maybe that's because I need a hard. There we go. Okay. He says, "Yeah, I suppose research in my mind is more activity focused than output required." I mean, but dude, like, even a traditional like even if you just join a big tech company and you're working on like random stuff, like if you manage to like luck into some sort of situation where the work is technically interesting, you will end up doing things that are adjacent to research, right? Like you might not be writing a paper, but you certainly could have written a paper. I famously hate writing papers, and I like I still ended up like getting a few papers just because there was some stuff we were working on. And what do we think? Do we like the date being above or below? I'm not sure what I think now. But yeah, if you like luck into a good team with technically interesting work, you'll be doing stuff that's like research. Yeah, let's put it below. I don't like this either. Let's do some good old fashioned manual editing. How to fix the margins in that case. Restart Hugo. I have to restart Hugo. Oh, did this not work? Why didn't this work? Oh, it's a new web server. Okay. Maybe there's multiple things. Oh, I gotta update both. Okay. Maybe we should right align it then. Fantastic Feezy suggests clean shot. Okay, I'll give it a look after the stream. I just hate buying software. I'm so bad. I'm getting more used to it. It's not like I can afford below. Yeah. So left align or right align? Kind of want to right align it. Let's try it right align again. Hello, you, my friend. Do 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 do. No, that looks bad too. I guess this is just like manual editing is kind of annoying. The LLM did something where it's like, what does Substack look like? Yeah, okay. This seems pretty standard. Tell me how the GitHub pages setup is gonna work. Pebble concurrent compaction. Oh yeah, people have really fancy things now. I don't know. Blah, blah, blah. Subscription called setup. Oh, but why do you want a subscription? I mean, this one at least is, you buy it and you're done, right? Oh my God. Oh yeah. Yeah, one-time payment. There you go. Yeah, I much prefer this style. And you buy a new one when there's an OS thingy. Agony. Do you know what the PLE space in the corporate tech world currently looks like? I'd like to do something in compilers. It's also been taken over by AI. You should like think about like, you know, what like compiler design looks like in an AI universe. Like I was chatting with the hack team at Meta a while ago, and this was something they were worrying about. Close. Like there is PL work, but the funny thing is that like I have a few people who are like who moved over to our team last year from the PL org because basically they were looking for things to do, and I was like, oh, you know, like PyTorch has PL problems to solve, which we do, right? Like we've got this crazy ass bytecode interpreter, and you know we've been building a compiler for 5 years, and so like you know there's definitely something to be done. This looks great. I'm so pumped. The archive view is still bad though. All right, let's do this. I've added an internal Git repository. Oh yeah. Uh, yeah. Are the images added? What happened to the images? Yeah, okay. This seems good. Any openings in my org? Yes, we do have headcount. I don't know what your resume looks like these days. But like, I mean, I also don't. So the problem is if we do have to send you through the like generic meta like interview loop. There's certainly lots of interviews happening. Like interviews are always happening, but you're gonna have to get past that first. What skills am I looking for? Hmm, I mean, so I can't speak for the entire org because, well, I mean, I do know what's going on in a lot of places, but the place I'll be able to speak the best is the stuff I've been working on. The stuff I've been working on is essentially like, what do we need to do to have a compiler that works well for LLM frontier training? And this is like distributed. This is like, related to our compiler stack. This is like related to like understanding the needs of pre-training and post-training. So a lot of focus on that right now. This looks so ugly. Ugh. I don't think it matters. What do they want me to do? Source, GitHub Actions, custom domains. Name Chapo. That's right. They have some weird thingy where I think it's in here. Yeah, it really has been a huge change everywhere. What do I? How do I? Oh my god. Profile? SSL certificates? Oh, that's right. Because I'm doing it Cloudflare now. Ah, I moved my DNS to Cloudflare. Uh, in the iOS world, people still seem pretty skeptical in part to how bad the tooling is. That I'm not surprised. All right. So where do I point it to? CNAME. Okay. Do I want to proxy now? No reason to proxy it now. Okay, am I about to brick my blog? I think I am. Well, let's just wait for this to actually show up. Yeah, okay. I think I have to manually trigger GitHub Actions. Oh, no, it says it deployed. Did it work? What's going on? Oh. Okay. So I need to not do the custom site redirect first because I want to see if it worked. Yeah, I'm kind of not very enthusiastic about. Wait, is this Hugo's fault? I have successfully deployed GHA to GitHub pages. When I try to view GitHub IO to check that it looks okay before I move GS over, it fails. Hugo archives page, not as good as the old one. Look at. I think we don't really need a per month page. Only per year is okay. But the categories and the full index of every post is stuff I wanna keep. And the URL here is archives. We should also make sure that feed still works. on TL reviewer bandwidth, where everyone is now able to generate code much more quickly, but LLMs haven't really improved the sense making, consensus building, overall system design process. And arguably, TLs had always been overloaded, and AI coding has only made it worse. Imagine that scaling continues. What would you expect the element to do when instructed to act this way? Well, imagine a human, also an engineer, has just been hired by a big tech company. Of course not. They will go out and start reviewing code. Let's take a look at this. And the years, just as a list seems dodgy, let's have a cloud-like thing. I do like having the post counts, though. Also, what the heck is the 001 year? Let's ground this discussion. This is a good time to ground this discussion. It is all very well to philosophize about about what the shortcomings of films are today and what is like where they might be at the end of 2026. But I want to know, as a person who Hello, hello, hello. Do, 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 do. Do, 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 do. Actually, I could probably do the years by by decade. Uh, spacing IMO. Spacing on accounts. So you need to use NVSP. It's stuck. Ach, Hans, it's stuck. The person whose day job involves PyTorch. GD. This is a very interesting thesis so far. I haven't found it difficult personally to integrate LLMs into my day-to-day. I do find myself reviewing way more peers than I used to. Is there any institutional LLM process stuff happening across teams at Meta, like LLM recommendations for use or something like that? I find myself trying to optimize the way I use LLMs when I really should just be coding or something of the sort. What can I talk about publicly? You can say we are doing a lot of LLM stuff internally. That I can say. Okay, I think what I can say is we're also figuring it out. Like, I wouldn't be writing this blog post if I knew what the right way to do this is. And like, yes, absolutely, people are noticing the like volume of code is increasing, and what do? Make the numbers smaller and gray. Specifically. I find myself trying to optimize the way I use LLMs when I really should be coding or something of the sort. I mean, it's important to like spend a little time exploring before you exploit. Like, but yeah, like I had a moment working on GH Box where I was like, do I want to do experiments on like Opus versus Codex, or do I want to actually just make this thing actually finish? And then I was like, I want to actually finish this thing, and so I did. Okay. Look at this blog post history. 157 posts in 2010. Man. and a 2-year gap where I didn't write any posts at all. It's so funny. I love it. This looks so good. Okay, so I am nearly ready to push the CNAME button. I am somewhat concerned some links breaking. I didn't think about. That's interesting. I don't know why that got rendered weird. Oh, what the heck? Oh man. Okay, this one rendered bad. Aggie. Yeah, I think the problem is somewhat more acute at startups where the calculus of speed right now versus speed later is a very decision. Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Like the bigger problem is like, are you vibe coding the thing or not? Right? Like, yeah. I think that that dominates most other considerations or amount around AI. And I don't know. I'm very reluctant to like full vibe code like important production software. Like it has to be disposable. What happened? Why are there? Oh no, it's Prio. I do find myself reaching for LMs even when I'm micromanaging, even after a higher level architectural decision. Not sure if it's making it past me. Measuring is difficult. I mean, I don't know. Like, I just don't. I actually do think you should be able to tell how much faster it's making you. And yeah, I don't have a advice though. I suppose my current idea is somewhat faster, but not sufficiently to 50%. People are seeing a much larger speed up, so I feel like I'm doing something incorrectly. I mean, depends on what kind of stuff you're doing, right? But like one of the more important things is not it's not that it speeds you up, but you can do it while you're doing other stuff in the background, just like what I'm doing here. AD. I feel like I'm not super tuned to multitasking this way. The context switching is tough. How does it work for me? I mean, it's like, what do I want to say? I guess I also don't like multitasking, but basically I'm usually only working on one thing to start with. But while I'm working on it, there often like are a bunch of subtasks that need to be done. And what's great about the agent is I can just spin off the agent to like work on the subtask, and all the only amount of time I have to like sweat it out is the only thing I have to sweat out is like writing the prompt. And then I can just let it go and I don't have to like spend time thinking about it. I actually like I do have lots of work trees hanging out around, but I also like like when I was vibe coding GH and Vox, I just like chucked all the agents at one directory and it mostly worked out. It's really funny actually. You have to like make them not work on the same things that are likely to step on each other's toes. Oh my god. I wrote so many blog posts. Okay, this looks good. I think that's fine. Let's do it. Lol, I've done that when I'm lazy. Hopefully clear totaling improves where I can really set it all up. Yeah. I mean, there's also like a mechanical difference here. Like if you just chuck the agents all at one work tree, you're like basically forcing them to spend tokens to like avoid stepping on each other's toes. Actually, like something like RCS would be good in this situation. Uh, Hang on. Yes, certificates is a problem. Do I have to proxy? Lol, who be star in my repo? Do I think PL design is going to change with LLMs being a thing? I often think about DSLs and how much worse they are for LLMs. Yes, I think so. Like in particular, like in the short term, there's going to be adjustment where like abstraction is less valued because you can just force the LLM to write the boilerplate. Like Java should be back in style, that sort of thing. Same with Golang. Although Golang is funny because they like intentionally didn't give a lot of abstraction capabilities, and I'm guessing it's actually well, Except the corpus isn't so big. I mean, this is also like the Python ascendancy thing. Like the models are just really good at writing Python. Beyond that, I don't know. It's a very interesting question. Well worth a blog post. I might need to have ChatGPT figure this out for me. Oh, it's provisioning a cert. Okay. Okay. Unavailable for your site because it's not properly configured. How do I fix this? I kind of want to use Claude. Let's see if Codex can do this. I'm trying to diagnose why fails with this is a new setup. On GitHub it says the docs say the DNS record for plot.easy is use dig to get the full records. Ah, it's back. Wonderful. Okay, GitHub pages hosted Hugo blog. Please let me know about any broken links or other problems. Fortunately, commenting didn't make the jump. What's this migration? Nice. There's a favicon. Let's download it and configure the Hugo website. So, Let's fix the broken website. Pages deploy. Let's look like. I think this is gonna run me out of quota though. Yeah, okay. Out of limit. That actually lasted longer than I expected. This mean in practice. In particular, to know. I should stop editing it in here. This is good old-fashioned codex is very slow. Sometimes it's worth it. The question is codex being slow worth it? Because like basically it ends up saving you time in the end if it like gets it right the first time. I really like Claude when I'm like steering though. Like I'm looking at every piece of code it's generating along the way. And that's important for code I actually care about and not when I'm just vibe coding and generating all sorts of random code. That at least. How often do you find you write manually versus steering with versus vibe coding on your real projects? Mm, I've been doing a lot of like good old fashioned TLing, aka not writing that much code. I fixed a bunch of bugs using Claude Code. Let me just look at my PyTorch PRs. What's going on? It's GHA as seen in this repo. So perhaps the problem is that GHA is trying to format for easyang.github.io.com, but this is undesirable because we're serving a lot of easyang.com. How often do I write manually versus steering versus vibe coding on my real projects? So for PyTorch, code in PyTorch itself, I never vibe code. I'm always reading the code. So like it's usually some sort of steering process. Like if I don't understand the change, I'm not going to submit it. I do have a change in flight where I did vibe code. Well, not really vibe code, but I did have the LLM take care of most of the administrative work involving some like complicated stride algorithm thing. But that one's actually kind of stuck in pull request review precisely because I don't really understand the implementation. But I also do work stuff that does fit in the vibe code box. Like one of my favorite uses for Opus is like debugging, troubleshooting, writing throwaway scripts to like, diff things together. That's really good at that. And I really appreciate that a lot. All right. This looks good. All right. Deployed. I see. I think my experience has been similar to yours. Yeah, I don't think it's pretty universal, honestly. I hate editing without new lines in my text editor. Associate only small subset of 100 human. And the argument above suggests that without major unlock, no learning, or input. Assistant context. I'm not really going to the short-term LLMs aren't going to. Yeah, but the other problem is that I need to set up Vim to like not break on characters, which is I think it's got a setting for that, but I'm lazy. I should just ask an LLM. They can propose, help you brainstorm things to think about. They can rubber duck with you. They can fill out plans. But at the end of the day, investigate artifacts. But at the end of the day, they can't be helpful assistant. Assistant frame means that at the end of the day, a human has to call the shots. Got the postscript. Not good for safety. So now we have in the road. We can assume that the human will always setting the context. Look for ways to mentions. And honestly speed things up. Or we can think about what it would take to be able to act like a senior engineer, assuming your learning have been solved. the assumption that improvements to the models including improvements to the models. I think that could be perhaps all it takes is a sufficiently long document saying if that works. Apparently ChatGPT doesn't know how to configure Vim. That's funny. I guess there's not a Vim configuration RL environment. Yeah, but I just used up all of my Claude rate limit. So I can't ask Claude. Oh no. Oh, woe is me. Oh, okay. Let's try this. Actually, I wonder if this is gonna look right. Do I care about the per date stuff? I guess it's fine. Don't mind you changing this things in the press setup. It work. It is terrible. Oh man. Okay. You just need to enough information about and once you have enough information and enough tokens, a smart will can infer the rest of the details. Let's see. This is a good example of steering. Like if I had actually forced it not to, what did it even do? Oh god, it ran a script and that's why it generated so many archive files. Yeah, that's bad. I don't want that. Question. I imagine you mostly write Python these days. Has my opinion of the language changed? Yes, I mostly write Python. And I don't know, what did I say was my opinion when I was teaching at NYU? Going on. Oh. Prompt a model on how to generate. It needs similar to how from what I remember, you were coming around to its idiosyncrasies. We had a discussion about its duck typing. I'm not sure what the consensus was. Haha. Oh yeah, I mean Python has a bunch of idiosyncrasies. It has a very complicated object system. I mean, it's just. I mean, there's just a huge gravity well around it. So like it or hate it, like that's life. You gotta deal with it. It's not going anywhere. Just it takes a while for GitHub pages to pick up new things. GDS. Any thoughts on what Modular is doing over there with Mojo and Python drop? I had a fun discussion with a former Mojo person, Modular person who had gone over to Anthropic. It was like they're doing better now. They're definitely totally leaning into kernel authoring now, though. Like I think the like it's Python way less emphasized these days. I don't buy it. Interesting. Oh, good night. Have fun. Thanks for joining the stream. Yeah, conclusion paragraph, and then I can sleep. Ugh.